What is going on, everybody? My name is Jay. This is Unplayable, your favorite show about our favorite games. Did I do it right, D House? Did
You
I
did
get
it
it?
perfect.
Sweet. I gotta work on that pregnant pause, but I'm getting there.
It was
Yeah,
very pregnant,
perfect. That's what I
like
was looking for.
8.5 months.
Minimum.
Yep.
All right, so it's just me and Mike tonight for the podcast. Unfortunately, David is out sick. Jim is in the process of buying a house, so he's signing
Little good,
contracts.
little bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's great for one person, not so great for the other. Um, yeah, so we are just going to be chatting about our experience at GenCon. We did so much stuff, and yet we still didn't get to do nearly all the stuff that we wanted to do. I feel like that's kind of how cons go, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have these expectations of, oh, I'm going to do all these awesome things, and it's like you get there, it takes way longer to do one thing than you anticipated. Then you get tired, then you gotta go get food 3 times a day and shower, and you gotta go sleep and all that kind of stuff. It's like you never get all the stuff done that you wanted to do.
Yep. Unless you're you, there was that one day you literally didn't eat until 8 p.m.
True, but I had so much stuff going on.
I know. But I totally agree. We did half of the things probably that we actually wanted to do. And we spent way less time actually playing games with each other, which was ended up being the most fun part, unsurprisingly. So
Exactly. Yep. So, do you want to just start us off with Thursday? Or
we
we
can
get
talk about Thursday.
we get there Wednesday. We're just hanging out. Well, we went to go get
Did we?
dinner
Yeah, we
somewhere.
got dinner. Did we play anything that night?
I
We
don't even
played.
remember.
We didn't play Lorcana because we didn't have product then. We
Nope.
played. I feel like we played something, but I can't remember.
Your
I
brother
don't.
wasn't there yet. I think it was
Mm-mm.
just. I think we were just chilling.
We
I
were
don't
just
think
hanging
we
out in the
even
hotel.
played Star Wars Rivals or anything.
Mm-mm. No, the first time I played that was in line on Thursday, which we'll get to. Also, I want to shout out your shirt. That looks pretty sick.
Oh
I
yeah,
just realized that you're wearing it.
I had to wear my Gen Con shirt for our Gen Con podcast.
Every time I tried to think about buying one, the line
Oh
was
yeah,
like 2 hours long, and there's just no way.
ridiculous. So we got there. I got there super early on Wednesday. There was still a line for like will call, and I still had to wait like an hour in the merchandise line. Stuff was
Wow.
sold out already. So
Oh,
like one of the shirts that
for
I
real?
wanted, yeah, one of the shirts I wanted. They do the thing where they only sell so much a day, so
Sure.
it was sold out for that day already. And I got there at like lunch on Wednesday. It's like the con's not even open yet, and they already had this line of people and merchandise sold out. But I
Wow.
ended up getting a couple shirts, and my dad got a couple shirts and some cool other little things like badge holder and dice or whatever. Yeah, I can't imagine the following days that line was probably like a couple hours long at least.
It was yeah, not even remotely worth standing in to me.
Ridiculous. But yeah, so I don't. It feels like it was only a week ago, and it feels like it
I know
was
it feels
a
like a
century ago.
year ago.
But yeah, we just kind of chilled Wednesday night, and then we made plans. Oh yeah, we had to get up so early that we didn't want to
Yeah.
stay up late. That's probably why we didn't really game that much.
Hmm.
So our plans were obviously Lorcana was coming out Thursday morning. First time anyone was going to be able to purchase this, right? Ever. So
Yep.
it was a big deal. So we decided we're gonna get up early and we're gonna come wait in line and try to be amongst some of the first few people to get product. We heard from someone that ended up staying the whole night. They got there the day before at like 6, stayed the whole night to get
Wild.
product the next day. But we learned from him and his son that security was kicking everybody out of the hall, the convention center, and that you had to wait out at the outside doors until 6 a.m. And that's when they would open the gates or open the doors to come into the convention center. And then at 10 a.m. is when the con hall where the exhibitors are actually opens. So me, you, and D House made the decision that what we're gonna do is we're gonna get up at like 5:15 and get to the outside doors around 5:30, since we
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to even get in. So we got there about 5:30. There was probably 150 people in line already, but that wasn't a big deal because everyone got in at the same time and everyone rushed to get in line where the actual pseudo line is. So we did that. We got there. The security comes and opens the glass doors that lead in the convention center. We kind of push our way in, and then the three of us, being athletic, decided to take a brisk jog down the convention hall. It was a pretty long hall. I mean, it was
we
at
were
least 200
those
yards.
people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can cue in the video that you shot of us running down the hall right here.
I did take a video of that, didn't I?
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, so we take a brisk jog down this. It's like 200 yards, right? So we actually managed to get pretty far up in line by doing that. We were
Yeah.
probably in the first 100. We were probably right around the 100 mark in terms of people in line. If that, to be honest. So we get there. They have this someone that from GenCon that was there said, we're gonna be cordial about this. We have this line here. They had probably, I don't know, 200 people's worth of those line things that you stretch out from the bar and you hook it up to another pole and it makes a line. They had maximum that was holding like 200 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you've never been to Gen Con before, there's more than one entrance to this place. There's one, two, three,
There's like at
four
least 4 to the main hall.
just on the side that everybody was crowding in on. And then on the other side, there's more, but it was way further away from the Ravensburger booth. So they set up the pseudo line right there at the closest entrance to Ravensburger. And that's where we got in line. Do you want to take it away from here? I think I set the stage pretty nicely.
Sure. So, we're in line. It's about 6:10. When everything's said and done. What happened basically was everybody was so rushed to get into line that the first, like, I don't know, 100 or so people, first like 50, 60 people were like super scrunched up together. And because the little stanchion things are like almost non-existent,
Yeah.
nobody wants to sort of like spread out and sort of like back off of each other. So for like 2.5 hours, the front of the line is just like squished. People can't sit. It's super hot, very uncomfortable, very smelly. Thankfully, our little tiny bubble was like had a little bit more room, so we were at least able to sit down, which was nice.
Yep.
And shout out to the one guy who was in front of us who left the line, grabbed us some Starbucks,
Yep.
and came back and was just
He was the MVP.
MVP, absolutely. And yeah, so we were, hanging out in line for a while. David and I played a game of Star Wars Rivals, which was really fun. And at about, I don't know, 9-ish, I would say, we sort of hear rumblings of people walking around and
and
convention staff saying things.
The convention hall, because people come early. There's people coming in early to go rush for games that isn't Lorcana.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're not waiting in the line that's been set up by the community. They're just like at the doors, like ready to get in there.
Yeah.
And so Gen Con comes and they say to somebody, and I mean, this is sort of secondhand information, but I'm pretty sure this is accurate. They say, this line is not real. Like, you guys made this line. We're not honoring this line. We couldn't come to some kind of agreement with Ravensburger, so this isn't happening.
I think
once everybody heard that,
I think one thing that they said too was Ravensburger didn't get here early enough to set up a line with us and kind of figure it out. So there is no line, and he proceeds to rip down the ropes of the line.
Yep. So there is no line. All chaos breaks out. People just scrunch to the closest they possibly can get to the door. And this is still about 9 o'clock. The halls don't open until 10.
For an hour.
So people are just like sandwiched in. It's super hot, super smelly, even more so at this point because we've been waiting for 3 hours.
Right.
And everybody's
at 6
pissed
o'clock,
off.
I said it was about 200, but by 9 o'clock, there was at least 10,000 people in the hall at this point.
It was wild. It was crazy, and it was not fun.
We were
uh,
squished like sardines because
yeah,
everyone just pushed as close as they could to the door,
and we
and
were right next to the bathrooms, so like people kept trying to like cut
get to the
in and like get to the
bathrooms.
bathrooms, and then they would all of a sudden just kind of make it out ahead
Yeah.
of us for some reason. I don't know. And so we waited for an hour or so, and the Gen Con hall doors open, and it's just like a sea of people trying to squeeze through one tiny door, and it felt like we were being birthed from, I don't know, the crowd. It was chaos.
It was
And
insane.
I don't know if I'm leaving anything out, but when we got to the other side, when we actually finally get through the door, about, I don't know, 20 minutes after they open, because it's just so crowded people can't move, we hear, oh, the line's back that way.
Yep.
And so we're like, what the heck? Like, this is just absolute insanity. So we walk all the way back to where we essentially started in line, and we
We
see just
look.
a gigantic like line that has already been formed by people who found that out before we did.
Yep.
And we end up maybe, I don't know, like a few hundredth in line at that
More
point.
than that.
You think so?
Like
Like
2,000.
2,000 people maybe. It
Yeah.
was far. uh None of us were very happy. we,
No.
we were ready to just like be done. And at a certain point we were, because after what, like
We
an
waited there
hour
for like
almost.
almost an hour, 45 minutes probably at least.
Yeah, and the line had not moved a
An
single
inch.
step. Yeah, like just dead stop. And we all kind of looked at each other and we were like,
This isn't
this
worth
can't
it.
possibly be worth it. Like, we just wasted basically 5 hours of our, Gen Con
Experience.
experience, and woke up super early. I'm on West Coast like time in my
Mm-hmm.
brain, so it's even earlier for me.
Yeah.
And it, we were not having a fun time. So eventually we were just like, screw this, we're gonna be done. We got out of line. We went, I think we went straight to the Star Wars Unlimited booth and checked that out, if
Yeah,
I
that
remember
is what we
correctly.
did. We went
Uh,
straight over there and got a demo going.
yeah.
Well, no. I think we might have went back to the room first,
Oh,
and we
okay.
had like we got some
We
food
probably got some food, probably
and
chilled
then
for a
got
little
our
bit.
equipment, and then
Mm-hmm.
oh
Is that
no,
the
you're right. We went straight to the booth. We talked to Xander, and he was like, we had missed our
yeah,
demo
our
that morning,
initial demo time, because it was at
so
9
he
a.m. and
scheduled us
we're still
another one
online.
with Jim. And so that's when we were like, all right, we have an hour. We went back to the room, got a
Mm-hmm.
snack, and then grabbed our equipment and went back.
I can't believe that was the same day. That
I
just like
know.
blows my mind. So yeah, we go back to the hotel, we chill for a little bit, we come back, we do the Star Wars Unlimited gameplay video that you guys can check out on our channel. Hopefully you already have. And after that, it's like 1:30 in the afternoon, and we walk over to the Ravensburger booth. We're like, I don't know, let's go
Let's
check
just
out the
check it
line.
out.
And we wait in line for 10 minutes, and we all get boxes.
Yeah. And I mean, the line was still pretty long, but something clicked and it started moving.
It was super efficient.
I mean, it was moving by that point. And I mean, this is several hours after the line had formed, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And that line is just zooming at this point. So we get in line, we wait 15 minutes tops,
max
and we're
15
able,
minutes.
yeah, we're able to get a box each, which is awesome.
Yep. We were expecting that to be the first thing that sold out, but it was all the other stuff that sold out, like apparently long before those boxes did.
The starters and whatever else. So our spirits were really down, but then we got to do the Star Wars Unlimited stuff, and that was really fun talking to Jim. And then we were able to get boxes, so we just like completely flipped. We were so much happier after that happened.
Yeah. Still annoyed that we wasted basically 5 hours when we literally could have just shown up at 1:30.
Yeah,
gotten our boxes anyway. But stuff happens. I get it.
It was an absolute mess, and Ravensburger completely dropped the ball on it. I mean, just number one, I've been to a lot of cons, all right? And Gen Con is the biggest board game con in America. and has a lot of cool stuff that they do, but they might be the most inefficient and like garbage ran con I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of them. I mean, it's terrible. And then
Yeah.
Ravensburger dropped the ball by not setting up or talking to somebody there to get a line for this setup. So either they completely understood what a phenomenon this was going to be in terms of how many people were going to be coming to get this,
I don't buy that anymore.
or they just didn't care.
Yeah, or
And
my thought at the time, which I still maybe believe, is just like too many people making decisions, nobody being able to come to an agreement on how they're going to run it, and it's just like, you know, big company that can't do small things well. I don't know if that's true or not. It kind of doesn't matter. They you know, they made up for it the next few days where they were kind of, you know, walking around the line giving people coffee and donuts and stuff like that, pins,
and actually had a line
and actually
for
had a
people to
line.
get into, like
Yeah.
early, starting 6 p.m. the night before. Why didn't we have that?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the people who were there day one kind of got shafted a little bit, but at least they were able to learn from those mistakes and improve from
Yeah.
there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much Thursday, right?
We went back and we filmed our unboxing of the Lorcana
Yep.
cards,
Which you can
and we
also
were
go
able to
check
get
out.
that. Yeah, definitely check that out. That was really fun to do. And then we played some Lorcana that day, but I think pretty much the rest of that day was just kind of like chilling, doing whatever we wanted, walk the hall a little bit, get some dinner together, all of us, and played some super limited Lorcana with one box.
Yep. That was a lot
Did
of fun though.
someone have a starter deck challenge that night? It
I
would have been
can't
David,
remember. Yeah, it
maybe,
would have been David, but
or
I think it was the night after.
his was after Keyforge, so I think that was on
I think his was after.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was our experience with the line to try and get product at Lorcana for Lorcana. It was a complete disaster. I
Yeah.
mean, and then when we get to Star Wars Unlimited, like the best part about this is we get to Star Wars Unlimited, and Xander, who is there, I don't even know his title, but he kind
marketing of some kind of marketing title.
Right. He is so efficient at making he has a schedule. He sticks to that schedule. He makes sure all of his team members, all the designers, all the managers are on their schedule. He goes and rounds them up. He has timers on his phone. He makes sure everything's running smoothly, everything's going on time, and is calculated. He never would have let this happen if he was in charge at Ravensburger for Lorcana. He would have had a line for us. He would have had this set up ready to go.
Yep, without a doubt.
That's enough complaining about the line, because you know what? At the end of the day, it don't matter. Everybody's still gonna be playing this game. Everyone got product that wanted to get product. They brought way more product than I thought they were going to.
Yeah, way more. And I don't know what the deal was, but at least when we went through the line, they didn't clip our badges, and so
they were only clipping it for starter decks, is what people said.
Okay, interesting. So we were able to keep going back basically each day and getting more product.
Yeah,
and
we all ended up with 3 boxes.
Yeah,
and we could have gotten more, but there was times that one like every time one of us was doing another event, so only 2 of us would go, but we managed. We figured it out, and they had enough product for 4 days to sustain a several thousand person line. So I'm thinking they sold at least 2,500 a day. So minimum, that's 10,000 boxes, which is a lot of revenue for
a lot.
Ravensburger. And
they probably netted over $2 million just the boxes and the starters and the accessories and stuff like that. So pretty good weekend for Ravensburger and Lorcana. So I don't know if it was worth it, aside from the fact that we got to play with those cards and have some really cool like multiplayer games. Like, I don't know how much I really got out of being able to open those early, just speaking completely honestly. Like I'm not going to sell any of my stuff. Like I don't typically sell stuff that I collect. And so it was cool to be part of the experience, but I think like, I don't know, for me, that was a little bit fleeting. And the biggest benefit to me was being able to just like throw together a deck and play some multiplayer with like you, David, my brother. And that was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
But after the fact now, it's like no one
Yeah,
around me has product. So it's
exactly.
just
Like there's no point in me having like this giant pile of Lorcana cards right now.
It did benefit us too, though, that we got to make an unboxing video for our
True.
viewers. So
True.
that's like one other thing that was like
We
a
did
good
it for the
reason to get it.
content.
We did it for our viewers. Our viewers like to see the packs getting unboxed and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's about everything. Well, I guess that's not everything for Lorcana because we still got the starter deck challenges, and
But
like you mentioned, we played multiplayer games, and those
we
are
did.
sick. Like
Yeah. So really quick on those, what we did is we each opened a box. I mean, this is obviously a very expensive way to play sealed, but we each opened a box and we picked 2 ink colors, but we made like a house rule where you could play any of your legendaries no matter what color they are.
yeah,
And that
which
was
was
really,
really
really fun.
cool.
Yeah, that was really fun and
Um,
unexpected.
yeah, that was because you get like 4 or 5 legendaries in a box, and they're not always going to be the same color, 2 colors. So it made it a cool way for us to play like our Rapunzel or Hades or whatever into a deck. Also, that was the first time we played. We played several, but the last time we played, we just opened David's box and we all got 6 packs and we made a multiplayer
True.
deck
And
out
we
of it.
played like legit sealed, which we can talk a little bit about like the sealed and draft rules real quick, where you just play any color. You just play all the colors.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Coach?
I'm not the biggest fan of that. I feel like it's
I think specifically in sealed
yeah,
too. Like in
yeah,
sealed, it's worse than it is in draft.
yeah,
Because in sealed, it's like you're just picking all the best cards.
yeah. It makes it. I guess okay. The one upside is that it's really quick to deck build
Yeah.
because you already know what all the good cards are. You just throw those into a deck and that's your deck. But it also means that there's like almost no deck building decisions being made because at least in this set there are some obvious duds, and you kind of just process of elimination. Which one of these, however many cards you open, 72 cards, whichever one of these are the worst are going, the other 40 are staying. I feel like draft is, I haven't tried draft yet, but I assume it's a little bit similar where, you're opening a pack. What's the best card out of this pack? Not for the deck that I'm building, but just the best card in this deck, regardless of color.
Yeah.
Maybe as you go, you get to make a little bit more, more decisions about that. But
Well, the only decision space there is unequals. Like,
true.
decide
Yeah.
if you see an unequal card, is this one that I want to take one of the 12 slots in my deck? And
Yeah.
if it's a really good one, you probably take it. If it's not a good one, you just take the second best card.
It makes it hard for me to conceive of like draft archetypes coming up, because you just pick the best cards and you're not really locked in. Like if you were, then it makes it makes common cards a lot more interesting. It makes your choices a lot more interesting. So I don't know. We've gone on about this. I don't know if any of you guys agree with this take, but I'm a little disappointed that is the way that it works. I wish it. I mean, even if it was 3 colors, that seems that seems a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like Magic has, you bring lands in from like outside the packs, so
True.
and the way lands work is they're specific to that color, so they can make it where you can go into separate colors and it doesn't feel weird like it does in this.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. I don't know like what else they could have done, especially with such, like they only have 12 cards in a pack, so it's even harder because you either have to have an extra pack or the ratios in the packs have to be different. I don't know. On top of that, when you're drafting it, I might get flack for this, but in the first set so far, it doesn't feel like there's archetypes that you would be able to draft towards. Like there's not all right, I'm getting all the stuff that discards and then the stuff that brings stuff back from the discard or gives me
Right.
benefit from. It's not
Or
like
I'm just going to draft all the princesses, or I'm going to draft all the whatever.
right. And I mean, you could draft all the princesses and hope you draft a Moana, but even
Right.
then, it's like that's
It's
not
the
an
only payoff
archetype.
card.
Yeah, and it's not an archetype that you can draft into. So
Hmm.
I don't see draft being as interesting in this game, to be honest.
Yeah, at
Uh,
least as it stands now.
as it stands right now. But I may be proven wrong. I may go do my first draft and be like, "Oh, this is sweet." But based on the starter deck challenge, no.
Yeah, let's get into the starter deck challenge, but let's speed run it.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, number one, go check our. We both played Blue and Gray. We both played Sapphire Steel, and you can go check out our a starter deck video, and you can kind of get an understanding of what our decks are doing because we don't. I don't think we need to go over what our decks are doing.
Hmm.
But basically, I guess I can give a rundown of what my starter deck challenge was. Round one, I played against this awesome dude that just got into making content, and also I met a ton of unplayable fans during my flight during
That
my
was
starter deck challenge. I mean, I
that
we
in general, that was wild to me that people like actually recognized us. I was not expecting that at all.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, so we brought playmats and we brought stickers and stuff to give away. And at my Star Deck challenge, I gave away a ton of them. I gave away at least like 6 or 7 to people that like actually watched the show and recognized me and knew us. So that was sweet. So my first game was against this dude making content. He was really nice. It was great games. It's best 2 out of 3 for the Star Deck challenges. I won both games back to back to make it to round 2, and it was the mirror match. It was blue gray against blue gray. Next game, obviously, anyone that won their first game is going to be running the best starter deck in the game. So I go up against Amber Amethyst, which was I knew was going to be the hardest match because it's the best starter deck. Anyone that says otherwise is fooling themselves because it's not even close. But I managed to win that game, or I lost the first round and then 1-2 back to back. I think I just got kind of lucky with my draws and lucky that I don't think in the last game I don't think he saw single friends from the other side, so that deck kind
Nice.
of slows down a little bit if you don't have the card draw. And what happened in the first game is he played double Olaf and I had like a Pascal on the board because I got a Pascal on my pack, and we'll talk about the way that worked in a second. But I had like these not great early characters, and then he had like really good characters out there. Like he got out 2 Olafs, couple wardrobes, and it was really hard for me to deal with. So the second game, I was like, I am not getting fooled by Olaf. So I hard mulligan for Captain Hook and Prince Eric, and I got them both, and I was able to swing into his Olafs easy or keep him from questing at all because he didn't want me to get good trades. And I was able to get the game to go a little bit longer, which was just a benefit for me because then I was still making good trades. I'd get a swords off, and then yeah, so that was sweet. And then last game, of course, was against another Amber Amethyst because anyone that won 2 games, except for me, was running Amber Amethyst. So I won the first game and then I lost 2 back to back. I'm not going to get in too much detail about this game because it was probably the biggest. I've played a lot of tournaments for CCGs. I mean, for years, and the person I got matched up into in this game was probably the biggest jerk I've ever been matched up into in any tournament I've ever played in my life. I mean, he was just a jerk, and I'm not going to get into too much detail about that, but it literally left a sour taste in my mouth after the tournament. Like I was having
That's
a
the
lot of
worst.
fun, and then had to play against this guy, and it was not fun. It literally made the game not fun, and if I'm not having fun, I'm why am I playing this game?
Yeah.
So it was really unfortunate, but yeah, that's how my starter deck event went. How did yours go?
Mine went okay. I have a terrible memory for this stuff, so I'm not gonna be able to go into as much match detail as you did. But of the things that I remember, first round I got paired up against a very cool woman who was playing Amber Amethyst, and she had half of her cards sleeved and half of her cards not sleeved because she didn't have enough, and she just like wanted to sleeve her cool cards, which like I don't care. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to call her out on that.
Right.
So we ended up playing a couple games. I think I won 2 in a row that game. The first game I do remember this. I drew into grab your sword like turn 1
Mm-hmm.
or turn 2 or whatever, and I was like, okay, I can play towards this. So I played a couple things here and there, but then my plan was to just wipe the board with grab your sword and then sort of clean up from there, and that worked. Second game, I don't know. I won. I don't know the details. But afterwards, I was like, hey, like, I wasn't going to say anything. I don't care. Like, you play how you want to play, but somebody else might
Mm-hmm.
have an issue with
Yeah.
that. So, and I don't want you to like, have to take a loss or something like that, or have to like go re-sleep in the middle of a game. Like, no, that's not fun at all. So shout out to Liam at Illumiteers, because he hooked her up with I think they were Captain Hook sleeves, like
Oh,
Ravensburger
nice.
Lorcana Captain Hook sleeves. And she was able to re-sleeve in between rounds. So that was super cool. Awesome of you, Liam. And then round 2, I got paired up against another Sapphire Steel deck, and I won. No, I think I lost this one 2-0, or maybe I went 2-1-2. I can't quite remember. But anyway, I lost this round. Very cool opponent. They were new to the game, but clearly had played a lot of Magic the Gathering in the past, and just kind of like knew their way around card games. Just good opponent, very sort of like down to business, not a lot of sort of table
Chit
talk back
chat.
and forth,
Yeah.
but just like very respectable opponent. Played really well. And then round 3, I got paired against the red green deck, and that was not too much of a challenge for the blue steel deck with all the removal for the evasive things. Like I
Mm-hmm.
knew the plan with that deck is just play your evasive cards and hope that your opponent doesn't have answers. So my plan obviously was try and draw the answers to those things. So that one worked out in my favor. I think overall the event was like run pretty well. I had some issues with whatever the platform that they used was, Melee or something like that. I accidentally gave not accidentally, I didn't know why they wanted my email address, and I gave them a different email address than the email address that I have in Melee, so I couldn't check it on my phone, and then I don't know, it couldn't find me in the system. He had no idea who I was paired against round 1, and I had to keep going back to the tournament organizer to like get sort of
That's
the
annoying.
information at the end of each round, which was pretty annoying. But I don't know. Apparently, every tournament software sucks because of like there's always issues with at least one person in every tournament I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. I think overall, I think the format of that tournament like was kind of bad. Like I don't think
So,
it's
what was the format? The format
yeah.
was everyone got a starter deck at random. You didn't get to
Hmm.
pick. And then there's a pack in the starter deck, and you open it and you can add any of the cards in that pack to your starter deck.
Yeah. So I think they can get away with this once. I think
Yeah.
because it was the very first time that packs are available, the very first time that you could play the game, the novelty of that was the draw.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual tournament format, like it's not that fun to play those starter decks against each other in a competitive environment because
Not at all.
they're all so draw dependent and they're so
Super swingy.
swingy. It doesn't feel like real, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a great experience. It feels like you're winning or losing due to the cards that you're drawing rather than the choices that you're making. Obviously the choices that you're making have something to do with it, but I think compared to constructed or even draft or sealed, where you get to choose the cards that you put in your deck and you
Mm-hmm.
sort of have agency over those decisions, I think yeah, I came away from it just being like I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It was kind of trash. And then the game that I ended up my last round, I won the first game and lost 2 back to back. The only reason I lost those 2 back to back is because my opponent in their booster pack got the legendary Aurora, got a super rare
Rapunzel.
mother Rapunzel, sorry. Legendary Rapunzel that heals and draws cards. which is already Amber
Insane.
Amethyst deck. So he's already drawing cards compared to me. And then he also got a Mother Gothel super rare, and he got a Mulan super rare. And those three are like incredible in the sealed environment. I mean,
hmm
incredible in a limited format. So and then in both game, in the one game that I won, he didn't draw any of them. And then the two games that I lost, he was able to get Rapunzel and draw into Mother Gothel or
So
Mulan and
that's
just
got to
play
be
them.
like one of the best packs I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Legendary and two
and
super
two
rares.
super rares, absolutely incredible packs. While the best thing I had in mind was the big Aladdin. So
Mm,
yeah, but the fact that the packs are so like random
mhm.
into it's like I'm still playing with the starter deck and my opponent wasn't still playing with the
Sure.
starter deck is what it felt like. So that's super unfortunate, but I think that's how sealed feels anyway. And uh to go back to the way sealed feels too, and draft, the fact that it's not color locked makes it even less strategic in my opinion, because you can't anticipate what they have. So
Sure.
if they can only play purple, and if they choose purple and green or whatever, it's like I know what cards to expect.
hmm
But if they can pick anything in any color, it's like you have
Yeah.
literally no frame of
So
reference
many
to
different
try and
possibilities.
figure out what might be coming.
Yeah.
It's
You got to
like,
keep 204 different cards in your head of like, oh, they could have this.
yeah. And then, yeah. And then even if is draft and sealed going to be best of two, best of three as well?
Yeah. I don't know.
If it is best of three, then maybe it you can like have played against them in the first game and then kind of have a frame of reference. But even then, it just feels way less strategic, because you don't know what they could have in their deck. They could have literally anything.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how also the starter deck felt with at least my last round. Uh, So
Yeah, for sure. So continuing on the Lorcana train, they announced one thing at GenCon that we suspected but didn't fully know, which
yep.
was the Enchanted rarity. And I thought that was pretty sweet. Like we had both, like we were texting each other back and forth like a few days before, once they revealed the whole set, and you were like, do they really have no secret rarity? Like like there's nothing cooler to collect than a foil legendary, and they answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big W for them. I mean, well, not even a big W, but it's just like super smart for them to do.
hmm
If you look at all of the like most successful CCGs in the last however many years, especially the most modern of them, like Flesh and Blood, it's like they all do this.
hmm
Pokemon does this. Does Yu-Gi-Oh do this? I think they just do
I don't
foils.
know.
But
Yeah, I don't
Yu-Gi-Oh is
know.
kind of trash anyway, so we don't talk about that on this podcast. But Magic definitely does this.
Yeah, they do now.
So if you're following the kind of pattern of successful CCGs, you have to do this kind of thing where it's like there's chase cards in the packs that are more
hmm
expensive than their regular versions of those cards.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
it's a
simple.
smart thing to do. It ultimately decreases the barrier to entry for people who just want to play, because people end up opening way more boxes than they normally would to try and find these chase cards. So it drives
Mm-hmm.
the prices of most of the other cards down.
Yep,
So I think it's just a net positive for everybody in general.
100%.
Um, and they look dope.
They do look really good.
They look really good. So how many did you open, Jay?
In 3 boxes, I got exactly 0 enchanted cards.
Oh,
How
perfect. Me
about
too.
you? Yeah, perfect. Sweet.
0.
What about David?
David opened
D
one in
House.
one of the best boxes I've ever seen. I think he had that and a foil legendary and like 4 other legendaries and a
And they were
bunch
all
of like
good.
really good super rares.
No Gantus.
He did open a Gantu in that box. He was opening it like right next to me, and this is his very first pack. He opened the enchanted card. It was an
Oh
enchanted
yeah.
Maui, and he as he's going through, he opens them and he's just like, oh, a Gantu. I'm like, dude, you have no right to complain right now. You just opened the most fire box I've seen And you're complaining that you opened Gantu. The only thing I wish is that the foil was the Gantu.
Yeah, exactly. What's hilarious is he got 3 boxes and he got 4 Gantus.
Yep. He got a full play set of Gantus.
But he didn't get 2 in one box. From the starter deck challenge, they gave you prize
Did he
like
get?
3 packs,
Oh, right.
and he got it out of
That's
one
where the
of
other one
those.
came from. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much our Lorcana experience at Gen Con.
Yep. Yep. And then Star Wars Unlimited. I mean, you could check out the videos.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up our experience with it. The game is really fun. We love it. Awesome to talk to Jim. Jim is like the coolest dude ever. Massive Star Wars fan, which I am as well. So it's very fun to talk to somebody who is sort of like that deep into it. And we already shouted out Xander, who's like a gangster. And I guess 2 other things to talk about: the GameGenic products that they revealed look sick. And I'm going to be spending a lot of money on those because I'm going to need them for all of my decks. So RIP my wallet, but they're very cool looking.
They do look very good. I'll definitely get them. I like the fact that they have the little slab on the side that you can put your leader in, especially like if they do, rare versions of these leaders, then it's like the perfect thing to put it in there.
It'd be so nice.
And then you slide it out and you just plop it on the table to play, and you could just play with it in the slab since it's not in your deck. Kind of
makes
like
it so easy to see like which deck you're looking at. If I have them all on a shelf or something like that and they're all in deck boxes, usually I buy black deck boxes. Like having the leader on the outside means that I don't have to sort of open each one and see. I mean, that's like a very minor convenience, but it is a convenience.
No, for sure. I completely agree. I think their products are going to be sweet, and their tokens and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love what they do. I think like looking at a game and working so closely with the like devs of that game to create a product that's like feels super specific to that game is really cool. I definitely appreciate that. I've wanted that in the past for games that I've played, and just really cool to see. I wonder if they'll do some Lorcana stuff, or if they could do some Lorcana stuff, because I don't know. I like having sort of specific things for specific games. I have like back here, I have like a bunch of Arkham boxes that are sort of like custom for that game. And I don't know. For me, it's like a nice little immersion thing.
I really like too. Like it's easier to store stuff if it's made specific to that game. So I think GameGenic is doing a really good job of doing that. So the SWU boxes are going to be really good for, if you have 60 cards, or is it 50 cards, it'll probably fit perfect, and all the tokens that you need. They do knock that stuff out of the park. And then the last thing we did at Gen Con, what was it? Well, not the last thing, but the last thing to talk about.
Yeah, Star Wars Rivals.
Yeah.
It's my new favorite.
It was a great time. I mean, I think you said this was the most fun you had at any event.
Yeah. I mean, I think we had a lot of fun doing other things, but in terms of events that we played in, and
not including like demos and stuff. Just like actual events.
Like how the event was run, the format of it, the vibe, unmatched. Basically, we all, and I think part of it was that they had their own room, and it's like so nice. So Funko had their own sort of like private room essentially, and that's where the event was held. Super casual, like very laid back. There were very small prizes for winning games, but nobody took it like too seriously. Everybody was super friendly just from the bat. They sort of like let people know that like, hey, this is going to be a laid back game. Some people may not even know how to play, and everybody's going to be cool. Everybody's going to play. So we sit down all at the same table, and keep in mind, this event is completely free.
Yep.
And they give us 5 packs of these characters. And if you don't know about Star Wars Rivals, it's like a little I don't know, pre-painted Funko little miniature
Hmm.
dudes, and some cards. And so sort of similar to like Marvel Snap, where you're trying to like win locations, but it's not evident from the start of the round which locations are going to be scored. So there's some strategy in terms of like where you place your guys and what cards you play to shift the game in your favor. And so we each get 5 blind boxes basically, and we open them either light side or dark side, and we open those boxes and we get to pick 3 of the characters from them and field those as our team. We get to keep the other 2, which was really awesome. And so you were playing dark side,
Hmm.
I was playing light side,
Yep.
and I opened the most cracked team that I could have ever even conceived of, and just had the best time not losing a single game.
I had a terrible team. I lost every single game.
Two of them were to me though, so
True.
it's expected.
It was still really fun though. Like I still had so much fun doing that.
Even though you lost all your games, it was still super fun for you, which I think
Yeah.
is like a huge like it speaks to the type of vibe that it was in the room that night.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, having a secluded space where it's like quieter,
Mm-hmm.
nice AC, and just like everyone playing, it was a great time. And the
Yeah.
people that ran it did a really good job. If you had any
Mm-hmm.
questions, they were all pretty knowledgeable and able to answer
Very
anything that we
friendly.
asked. Very friendly. They like we this is the day I hadn't ate.
Yeah.
So at like 8:30, our food gets there from DoorDash, and we were like, we got to skip the next round. Is that okay? They didn't care. They were like, go eat your
Yeah.
food and then come back for the following round.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We all came
So
back the following round. We played our last game, and they gave us these really sick 2-player play mats that we've seen
yeah,
online that we really wanted but didn't know how to get. I don't think you can literally get them anywhere else. At
I
least not
don't
yet.
think so
I hope that
either.
they do make them available because they're awesome.
They were.
And yeah, so all that for a free event that was just like such a fun time. I loved every minute of it.
Yep, I agree. It was great. It was.
We need to find a way to do Star Wars Rivals gameplay content on the channel because I think that would be super fun.
It would be incredibly fun. I just don't know the best way to present that yet, but
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
figure
figure
it
it out.
out.
Definitely.
All right. Was there anything else from Gen Con? I guess I could touch on my excursion home was as much, if not more of a nightmare than Lorcana.
Oh, way worse. Way
Yeah,
worse.
it was worse because it lasted 5 times as long. I was awake for like 36 hours, and my flight. We went to the airport around like what 5,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. We
get
went at 5.
home until like 6 or 7 o'clock the next day.
Wasn't it Tuesday? That
No, I
like
got
PM?
home Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, PM.
Okay. Got it. So yeah, so it was like 5 p.m. Sunday. You didn't get home until 6 p.m. Monday.
Or after. Might have been even 7. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was 25, 26 hours of traveling time.
Literally my nightmare.
It sucked. I'm not even gonna get into all the details, but basically, when we had a connecting flight in Atlanta, and when we landed, 300 flights were canceled, and we were like number 77 planes sitting on the runway waiting for a
Oh
gate to
man.
open just to get out. We sat on the plane for like 2.5 hours. It was a nightmare.
That's horrible. That's awful.
And then I get home and I have con crud, so
Yep.
I'm still trying to get over it.
Yep. Sucks. Well, on that note, one last thing before we get out of here is we hit 3,000 subs on our YouTube channel. So thank you to everybody who supported us. And you guys are awesome. Did not think that we would,
Hit that milestone
hit
so
that
fast.
milestone so quick. And yeah, we're very excited. And we're going to host a Lorcana launch party live stream / celebration. We're going to be playing games. We're going to be giving stuff away. We're going to be just having some good vibes.
Yep.
I think I have one of those pins that they were handing out. Going to give one of those away.
Mm-hmm.
Probably give away a set of the Star Wars Unlimited promos. Probably give away
Nice.
one of the Mickey promos from Gen Con. I'm trying to get a box and I want to give away the whole box. Maybe like open it live, and one pack goes to each person who wins the giveaway.
That'd be sweet.
So keep your eyes peeled and make sure that you guys stay tuned for that, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know exactly which day it's gonna be. It might be a little bit after the actual launch of Lorcana, because people have things to do, I guess. But we'll try and make it happen as soon as we can.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And next time, hopefully, we'll have David and Jim with us, and we'll be able to get back to the old stank we usually do. Anything else? We're good?
That's
All
it.
right, guys. See y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.